Today I'm going to show you how to make 6 different types of sandwiches that you can freeze for later. I'll also share some tips on how to thaw, store, and keep them tasting their best. First up, I'm making my husband's favorite sandwich, chicken katsu and egg salad. Today I'm making this chicken katsu a little bit differently than usual. First, I'll remove the skin from the chicken. You can make the chicken katsu in large pieces, but I find it's easier to thaw and tastes better when made in smaller pieces. Usually I would just season with salt and pepper, but today I'm using this Shio Koji. If you don't have any, you can just use salt and pepper. For chicken katsu, I use about 5% of the weight of the chicken. Mix it well. Shio Koji is a fermented seasoning made with rice koji, salt, and water. The koji contains enzymes that break down the proteins in the meat, making it tender. I'll let it sit in the fridge for 10 to 15 minutes. While that's marinating, let's make some hard-boiled eggs. Once the eggs are cooked, I separate the yolks and white. Now let's chop up the egg white. Egg whites are high in moisture, so chopping them finely and mixing them with the yolks and seasonings will prevent them from becoming soggy and unappetizing when thawed. Add a little mayonnaise to the yolks and mix well. Today, in addition to salt and pepper, I'm using this ramen pepper. You can sometimes find it in Japanese ramen restaurants. It contains garlic powder, onion powder, white pepper, and black pepper. My husband had been wanting it for a while, and he finally bought it online. It turned out to go well with a variety of dishes, so it's been really useful. It will be making a few appearances in today's video. This doesn't have any salt in it, so I'll add some salt and pepper as well. Do you have similar spice mixes overseas? It's interesting that in Japan, this is sold as a spice for sprinkling on ramen. Japan doesn't really have a spice mix culture, so you can't buy something like this at a regular supermarket. I'm glad I had my husband buy it. He's been putting this spice on everything lately. I wonder if it's because of the enzymes in the Shio Koji, but the chicken seems to be flatter than usual. It's perfect for sandwiches actually. I use 3 tablespoons each of flour and water for the batter. This chicken katsu was incredibly juicy and flavorful even without the skin. Fry for 2 to 3 minutes per side in oil. For today's chicken katsu, I'm using chicken thighs. I think chicken thighs are better for freezing than chicken breasts because they have less moisture. Spread butter or mayonnaise on the bread, whichever you prefer. When making frozen sandwiches, spread mayonnaise, butter, cream cheese, or mustard on the bread helps prevent the moisture from the ingredients from soaking into the bread. I added a little bit of Karashi, Japanese mustard, to my mayonnaise. Put the katsu on top. And add a little Tonkatsu sauce. Since the egg sandwich already has mayonnaise, I didn't put anything on the other piece of bread. Wrap it in plastic wrap and let it sit for a while to make it easier to cut and pack in the bento box. After 5 to 10 minutes, cut it in half. Looking good! I'm going to freeze this in a microwave-safe and freezer-safe bento box that I bought at the $1 shop. The size of this sandwich fits perfectly in this box. You can also freeze it without the box, just wrap tightly in plastic wrap. I'll show you the frozen sandwiches and how to thaw them at the end of the video. Next, I'm going to make a broccoli and shrimp salad sandwich. First, I'll thaw some frozen shrimp. Broccoli and shrimp are both great for frozen sandwiches. Even after thawing, the texture doesn't get too bad and it still tastes delicious. I'll chop the broccoli and shrimp into small pieces and then pat them dry with paper towels. I bought some red bell peppers today, so I'll add those too. They go well with shrimp and broccoli. Adding corn would also be delicious. Cook the broccoli in the microwave at 500 watt for about 2 minutes. I have a lot of broccoli today, so I stopped it halfway through and stirred it. I think this will help it cook more evenly. Once the broccoli is tender, I'll transfer it to a stainless steel bowl and let it cool. While it's cooling, I'll cook the shrimp in a fry pan with some oil. Season the shrimp with sake, salt and pepper to remove the smell. Add a little garlic powder if you like. Once the shrimp are almost cooked through, add the red bell pepper. I'll just cook the bell pepper lightly. Once the shrimp are cooked through, I'll add them to the broccoli bowl. Add the ramen pepper that I introduced earlier. Ramen pepper really goes well with salad like this. I think it's a good idea to let it cool a little before adding the mayonnaise. Add some beet sugar syrup. You can also use sugar or honey, of course. Add a little bit of grainy mustard for an accent. Take a bite and add salt and pepper if it tastes bland. The best thing about ramen pepper is that it doesn't contain any salt, so after you have finished adding other seasonings, you can add only spiciness without making it too salty. It's a great seasoning for people who are trying to reduce their salt intake. I didn't add that much mayonnaise to the broccoli, so I'll spread some on the bread. Add as much salad as you like and make a sandwich. I forgot that I wanted to add eggs. This time I added sliced boiled eggs because I thought it would look cute. However, I think it might have been better to chop the egg white finely and mix them into the salad like in the first recipe. I think that way after defrosting, the moisture in the white will not be a problem. What I discovered this time is that the way you cut and cook eggs can make a big difference in how they taste after they thawed. Maybe you should mix the eggs with the shrimp and broccoli. Next, let me show you how to make eggs that are quite fluffy when frozen. First, I'll add mirin to the eggs. The sugar alcohol contained in mirin has the property of retaining moisture. Therefore, it prevents the egg from losing moisture and becoming dry when frozen and keeps it fluffy. In addition, the sugar contained in mirin reacts with the ingredients in the egg to make the color brighter. By the way, oil is also important for frozen egg. Oil also prevents the egg from losing moisture and becoming dry and gives it the moist finish. This time I used olive oil when cooking the eggs, but it's even better to add a little mayonnaise to the beaten eggs along with the mirin. If you don't have mirin, you can add a little sugar and mayonnaise instead. Since we are freezing it this time, Let's cook it through instead of leaving it half-cooked. This sandwich is the simplest and quickest to make. Spread mayonnaise on the bread. And then add the cheese and ham. Put the egg we just made on top. Add mayonnaise. And then put the other piece of bread on top. It might also be delicious to add a little ketchup. By the way, when making frozen sandwiches this time, I avoided ingredients that are likely to be high in moisture, such as tomatoes, cucumbers, daikon radish, and lettuce. Egg salad made with boiled eggs is also good for freezing, but I was really happy that this egg was also surprisingly fluffy even after thawing. Next, I'm going to make a sandwich using croquette that my husband absolutely loved and asked me to make again. Shred the cabbage and pat it dry with paper towels. This is optional, you can make the sandwich without this topping. Peel and chop the potatoes and boil them in water. Boil them until they are soft enough to mash easily. While the potatoes are boiling, chop the onion and fry in oil. Once the onion is slightly browned, add the ground chicken. You can also use ground pork. Add sake. Grated ginger, salt and pepper to the chicken, and mix well. Once the seasonings are well mixed with the chicken, I'll mix it with the onion. Season it all over. Add soy sauce, sugar, chicken stock powder, and black pepper. Mix well and fry until the moisture is gone. Drain the potatoes and mash them. There's quite a lot of meat today. Please adjust the ratio of meat to potatoes to your liking. It's delicious with more meat, and it's also delicious with more potatoes. I thought I would leave some meat out at first, but I ended up putting it all in. Taste it and add salt and pepper if needed. At my husband's request, I'm adding some ramen pepper here. I'm grateful that I can add this at the end without it getting salty and just adding a spicy flavor. It definitely tastes better than before. Shape it into a size you like. I made a large size for a sandwich, but it might have been better to make it thinner. If it's too thick, it's not a problem for cooking, but it will take longer to thaw after freezing. If you don't microwave it and thaw it naturally, I recommend making the croquette a little thinner. It looks like a paw. Make a batter by mixing equal parts flour and water, just like I did with the chicken cutlet. Coat it well with panko. By the way, I hear that potatoes are relatively unsuitable food for freezing, but I think croquettes that have been mashed and seasoned like this are very good for freezing. They were still very delicious after thawing. Unlike chicken cutlet, all you need to do is cook the panko and butter on the outside, so it's easy. It's done when the surface is crispy and has a nice color. Be sure to pat the cabbage dry before putting it on the bread. Don't put too much on. Put a little tonkatsu sauce on the croquette. I think it's okay if you don't have any sauce because the croquette itself is well seasoned. I forgot to put mayonnaise under the cabbage, so I'll put a little on the cabbage. The reason why my husband loves this croquette so much is the ramen pepper. He's addicted to it. Next up is a kabocha salad sandwich. I've made a kabocha salad on my channel a few times before, but this time I'm going to make a seasoning that's perfect for sandwiches with slightly different ingredients than usual, so stay tuned. I usually make it simple with just kabocha, but today I'm going to add some ingredients. Add chopped onion, red bell pepper, and ham. These ingredients add a great accent. As usual, I'll cut the kabocha into small pieces and cook it in the microwave. I made a lot today and used some for dinner tonight. Since there was a lot, I took it out halfway through and stirred it a bit. And cooked it for a total of about 7 minutes. I cook it until the kabocha is soft enough to mash the skin easily. The kabocha I used today had less moisture, so I think it's perfect for freezing. However, it was quite dry, so I added a little milk to make it moist. Add just enough milk to make it slightly moist. Even in this state, it's delicious to eat with beet sugar or honey. That's how my husband ate it for dinner. Stir-fry the ingredients other than the kabocha that I cut earlier. First, fry the onion in olive oil. Once it's softened a bit, add the ham and red bell pepper. Fry them lightly. The key to the seasoning today is this: curry powder. This curry powder makes the kabocha salad much tastier. The key is to use just a little bit. This amount gives the kabocha a perfect flavor for sandwiches without the curry flavor being too strong. Also, add sugar, salt and pepper, and consomme. Since it will become powdery, I'll add a little sake here to make it smooth. If you don't have sake, water or white wine is fine. Once it's no longer watery, turn off the heat and mix it with the mashed kabocha from earlier. This is fine by itself, but I thought the taste was a little brown, so I added mayonnaise. Adding mayonnaise also brightens the color of the kabocha, which is a nice bonus. Instead of mayonnaise, you can adjust the final taste with salt and pepper. When making a sandwich, I think it's a good idea to add cheese as well. Please feel free to do so if you like. I'll put a lot of kabocha on the bread and make a sandwich. This is the same as with the croquette. But if you can't heat it up in the microwave, I recommend placing the kabocha salad thinner so that it's easier to serve. Next, I'll introduce you to a nutritious omelet sandwich. This time I'll make an omelette with various vegetables, so it's a perfect menu for using a leftover vegetable in the fridge. Finely chopped green beans, red bell pepper, onion, carrot, and potato, and add them. You can use any vegetable that go well with eggs. Since I chopped them all small, they cook quickly and easily. Stir-fry the onion, carrot, and potato first. Since the potato takes a long time to cook, you can microwave it beforehand if you want. Once these are softened a bit, I'll add the green beans and fry them. Then add the red bell pepper. Finally, adding corn will make the omelette slightly sweet and delicious. Season it with hondashi and salt and pepper. Once mixed well, transfer it to a bowl and let it cool. I forgot to add the ham, so I'll cut it with scissors and add it. Once the ingredients have cooled a bit, crack the eggs into the bowl. Add a little sugar and mix. Use a generous 3 eggs today. Oil the fry pan and pour in all the egg mixture at once. I thought 3 eggs might be too many. Maybe 2 would have been better. It's a bit difficult to flip, but I'll do my best. It got a little burnt, but it seems to be okay. Since I'm freezing it, I'll make sure it's cooked through. This is quite thick, so it's very satisfying to eat. However, if you're going to thaw it naturally without using microwave, please make a thinner omelette. I'll serve it with ketchup this time. Spread a thin layer of ketchup on the bread. It goes really well with the omelette. This is the best omelette with the delicious taste of eggs and vegetables spreading throughout your mouth. Finally, I'll show you how the sandwiches look after freezing and thawing. While looking at it, let me explain how to defrost the sandwich and important points to keep in mind. To thaw the sandwiches in Japan, heat them in a 500-watt microwave for about 2 to 3 minutes. The wattage varies depending on the country, so please adjust accordingly. If the sandwiches are still frozen after 2 to 3 minutes in the microwave, flip them over and heat them for another 30 seconds to 1 minute. If you don't want to use a microwave, you can thaw the sandwiches naturally by taking them out of the freezer in the morning and bringing them to work or school. They should be thawed by lunchtime. It takes 4 to 5 hours to thaw naturally. As I mentioned during the recipe, if you're going to thaw naturally, please make the ingredients you put in the bread as thin as possible, otherwise it will take longer to thaw. I think if you can thaw them in the microwave, you should be fine with the same thickness as mine. Avoid taking frozen sandwiches with you in temperature around 30 degrees Celsius. This is because the temperature will rise rapidly after thawing, making them more likely to spoil. However, if you can carry them with an ice pack and thaw them in the microwave just before eating, you should be fine. As a guideline, it's best to eat frozen sandwiches within 2 weeks. Which sandwich looked the most delicious to you? Please let me know in the comment which sandwiches you'd like to make and any other recommended ingredients. Thank you so much for watching our video. Please subscribe to our channel. If you are already a subscriber and would like to support our channel, please join our membership. Membership feedback will be reflected in content creation. See you in the next video.